rise.
It's good.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America. And to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. After we finish this meeting, we'll go on and these microphones on yet?
Everything's on.
They're working.
Okay. Okay, after this meeting, the committee meeting process will then adjourn, obviously not really adjourn, but then we'll go on to have the full board meeting, a business meeting immediately following this committee meeting. So we'll start off with personnel. Mr. Ferrara, or Supervisor Ferrara, if you have any statements to make before you start, you can do that.
I'll make a quick statement so everybody doesn't have to. I think unanimously and simultaneously, I'd like to put forward a motion to thank all of our town county personnel who have been in the trenches with all this, starting with Mitch, all the way to health and so forth. You guys have done an outstanding job, and I know from the rest of the Board of Supervisors, we thank you from the bottom of our heart and appreciate all that you're doing. So.
Very good. Okay.
Okay, I need a motion. Supervisor authorize reclassification of psychiatric social worker 2 position to psychiatric social worker 1 position in mental health department.
Support.
Discussion.
Second from Mr. Brunel.
Yes.
Can you see that, Margaret? No, Margaret.
I think he's the only one that can. He's going to be second all of them.
He doesn't have a quorum then.
Get a fold of you.
Are they on the phone?
Yeah, Mr. Lott, Supervisor Lott. Yep.
Mr. Etman, can Mr. Lott be present by telephone?
Yes.
Okay, we've ruled that Mr. Lott is present by telephone. Is Mr. McGreevy in here tonight? And also, we can hear it in the background. It's like a 10 or 15 second delay from the.
Well, to make it easy, I'll
YouTube.
have Supervisor Brunel second them all.
Okay.
How's that?
Yep, that's good.
Because he's here live.
Okay.
Discussion. I think Chris Wagner sent everybody some descriptions of some of these changes and so forth. We met, placement committee met and approved all of these on March 10th. So there's where we're at. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
I'm going to ask with the I'm sorry, I should have said this, with the telephone appearance by one of the members, being the third member, that he should be specifically asked to state his vote.
Okay.
Because it's difficult to hear otherwise.
Votes aye.
Thank you.
Carried. I make a motion and recommendation from the Vacancies Committee to fill Deputy Director Planning and Community Development. Any second, please?
Second.
Discussion.
And no board resolution is necessary, it's just a committee resolution, right?
I think we got to fill these positions, and then we have you talked about the price or the hiring freeze?
Right, but I mean, you only need committee approval on this, and so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got you.
You still have to,
Gotcha.
you still have to approve it and vote on it, but it doesn't go to the full board.
Got it. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye. Okay, Mr.
Great.
Wright says aye, Mr. Brunel says aye.
Motion by the recommendation of the Vacancy Committee, fill vacant sergeant position and backfill deputy position. Have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Ralph? Aye. Aye. You say aye?
I think I heard him say aye.
Yeah.
I know it. It's crazy, yeah. We gotta get it back.
I make a motion, the Board of Supervisors authorize the creating and filling of 1 deputy sheriff position. Can I have a second?
Second.
Yeah, second, okay.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ralph? Thank you. Okay, got two.
Make a motion, reclassify positions of 2 MEO light to 2 MEO heavy. Can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ralph? Aye. Okay.
Issue number 6, supervisors classify position of auto mechanic 1 to auto mechanic 2. Can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ralph? Aye. Okay.
Board of Supervisors approve creation of 1 staff resource assistant 2 and elimination of 1 caseworker trainee. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ralph?
Recommendation by the Vacancy Committee, met on it, to fill 1 code enforcement officer position. Have a second, please?
Second.
Discussion.
Ralph? Can you hear us in this discussion?
Yes, I can.
Good, okay, I want to make sure, okay, we need your yes vote.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Carried. No, that's not personnel.
No, you got one more. Unfinished business.
Yes,
You got a copy of it?
Supervisor Brunel, any unfinished business on your end? Any new business? So we're going to do this one under new business, Bob? This one here? Okay, I got that. Okay, supervisors support next steps in completing the facilities master plan implementation.
No.
Not that one. Which-
The other one.
Not that one, I got that one too.
Hiring freeze.
Hiring freeze, got it. Board of Supervisors implement a hiring freeze for Seneca County. Whereas the county has been restricted to operating with essential personnel and continuously ensuing compliance with directives received from the governor's office, and whereas the Board of Supervisors has determined that Seneca County is in need of a temporary hiring freeze due to forecasted budgetary constraints, and whereas the Personnel Committee has met on March 23rd, 2020, and agreed that a temporary hiring freeze was necessary, now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Supervisors approve Seneca County's hiring freeze that will take effect upon passage of this resolution, subject to the following conditions. The hiring freeze will be in effect until lifted by Seneca County Board of Supervisors. The hiring freeze prohibits the replacement of personnel in already existing positions should an employee resign, retire, or be terminated by Seneca County. Number 3, the hiring freeze prohibits the creation of new positions and the hiring of persons to fill any newly created position in non-essential positions and/or departments. Number 4, Seneca County Department head may approach the County Board of Supervisors at a regularly scheduled meeting and request an exception is granted to the hiring freeze upon a showing of special circumstances. Seneca County Board of Supervisors will review special circumstance situations and consider the current budget of the department, the special circumstance or need of the department, and any other relevant factors. And number 5, the following are exempt from hiring freeze: Seneca County's Attorney's Office, Emergency Management, and E911 personnel, Seneca County Sheriff's Department, Public Health, and mental health departments. Whereupon the Seneca County Board of Supervisors requests said resolution be published one time in the Finger Lakes Times, the official newspaper for Seneca County. Have a second.
Second.
Discussion.
I have a question. Does this have to be approved by the full board tonight?
I would think it had to be approved by the full board before you can move it on.
Okay.
That would happen in the regular meeting? Okay.
Chris, you got any comments? Chris Wagner?
No, sir, I don't have any further comments. Supervisor Ferrara said it all pretty well.
It was written very well. Anyway. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ralph? Ralph Lott?
Mr. Hayes is here too for
Oh, that's true.
the third.
Are you on the committee?
He's on that committee.
I'm on it. Okay, we passed it. Ralph, are you there? Anybody there on the telephone?
Don Trout's here.
Yeah, is Ralph still there? We lose him.
I haven't heard Ralph come up.
Okay,
I'm good. I had my phone muted. I didn't realize I muted it.
okay. Were you in favor of that resolution?
Yes, I was.
The hiring freeze. Okay, good. Very good, thank you. Okay. Well, we made it through one committee. That's good.
4 hours and 22 minutes later.
So all these, okay, before you hang up, Mike, more or less, you want all these issues, resolutions to go to the full board tonight then?
Yep.
Okay, including that one. Okay, the last one. Okay, good. John, try to be happy that I'm doing a resolution by consent.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Flip the pages here. Public Works.
Yes, sir.
In lieu of Mr. Trout not being here, Ms. Scarlett Lawrence will be handling the committee here.
Good evening, folks. Issue number 1, Highway Superintendent authorized to sign shared services agreement. Let me just say that it's Trout, myself, Kraut, Borst, and Hayes on this committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I didn't get the second.
Second by Mr. Conway.
So am I reading it, or somebody want to talk about it? It looks like it's something that we do every year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mitch. Something that we do every year with the state DOT, $25,000 per year. Public Works Standing Committee reviewed and approved this resolution. Is there any questions?
I got it.
Okay.
What is it, what's the $25,000 for? What is it, what do they cover? It
think
goes
it's
to
really-
DOT?
Correct.
What does
It says
that, what does that do
equipment.
for us? Anyone?
Sam had a comment on it, item number 1.
Hold on, let me look at his, he
We'll read the
only has a
resolution
sheet.
too, maybe.
Yeah, you could read the resolution.
I did read the
It doesn't say
resolution, it
anything what
doesn't
the
say.
$25,000 covers.
No, it doesn't. All right, materials or equipment. All right,
what, though?
Sam sent an email, let me try to go back to it. Did anybody else get it? Sam Priam, okay.
Is that the shared services between Fayette and the
No,
county?
no, it's not. This is what, okay, so shared services agreement with NYS DOT. This was approved last year, up to $25K each year. This agreement will be for 4 years. We don't use this often, but good to have in place just in case. Shit. Really doesn't say. Sorry, that's all I got on an email.
So if we're just
year for 4 years?
So up to 25.
So here's the thing. If we have questions such as this and nobody can answer them, then I would say that we wait. Okay? So we will, what do I do? Just say hold it over for the next committee meeting?
That would
County
work.
attorney?
That would be fine.
Okay.
Does anybody on the phone know what this goes for? Does
Sam, you on the phone? Sam Prim?
I am on the phone.
Okay, well,
Oh.
we have questions about the first agreement, the Public Works number 1, about the shared services agreement.
With DOT.
Yep. Go ahead, Cindy.
Okay, so what is it for, Sam? The 25 grand? What's,
It's either materials or equipment.
that we'll use, that we use at the county?
If they use or we use their equipment, or if they use our equipment.
Okay, and that we won't go over 25 grand then? Correct?
Yes, for each year, yes, correct.
Okay. Can you just give an example of what equipment we've used from them before that we don't have? Just one example.
Oh, gosh. Let me think.
Probably like an excavator or something if you gotta use that, or a truck breaks down. I understand that, but are we writing them a check for $25,000?
We don't
each
write
year,
them the
or
check
do we pay
unless something happens, right?
Unless we use it.
Unless we use it, we
It's only if we need to use something
Okay.
that we use.
So this is for
I'm
the
thinking
Tom's too.
snowstorms, you know.
Does this go both ways?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Makes sense.
Mostly for, we use, if we need something from the state, not so much from us. They don't need anything from us.
Okay.
Just go buy it.
Okay.
Do you know, did we use anything last year, or you don't have that in front of you, probably?
I do not have that answer. I don't think we did.
All right. All right, that's fine. So if we need to use a piece of equipment from the state, this board will give you up to $25,000 to do so. Pretty much. Okay, does anybody have any other questions? It's typically something we've done every year,
Yes, ma'am, we had something last year, very similar.
and it only goes year to year, correct?
This is for 4 years.
This is a 4-year agreement. It's 25 years for each year. It's not accumulating, it's 25, that's it.
Okay, do you guys feel good, comfortable with that, or did you want to wait?
I think it's a good cushion to have, you know, if you have
I'd like to do it every year to year.
I know, I would think the same way, like year to year. Can that be done year to year, do you think, or?
It can either be a 2-year or a 4-year. You can amend it to a 2-year.
I can't hear you, Sam. Can you
Okay.
speak like loud like me?
He said you could do it for 2 years or for 4 years.
Is
All
that-
right.
Is that per the state? Is the state saying that we can only do it in 2-year increments?
I'd be fine with 2. You guys good with 2? All
Yeah, I'm good too.
Good with
right, everybody in Public Works, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay,
Carried.
So you're amending it
motion's
to
carried.
2-year?
To 2 years, correct.
Okay, well, we got to amend it. You want to technically amend it to make it right?
Then I gotta amend it.
All right. We do that at the board, don't we? County Attorney, am I amending now?
You're amended now.
Okay.
You amend your committee resolution to 2-year instead of 4-year. Vote on the resolution, vote on the amendment, then vote on the resolution.
Okay, all in Public Works voting on a 2-year amendment. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now we're voting on the resolution as amended to 2 years with DOT, 25 grand. All in favor? Oh my God.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay.
Okay,
Personnel went a lot quicker.
that was one big thing.
Mike?
You just wait. Okay. Oh, boy, I don't even want to do the next one. Don, you do. All right, Facilities Master Plan. So, Sam, you there? Don, you're there?
Yep.
So we met, when did we meet? We met a couple weeks ago.
Couple Wednesdays ago.
All right, and we all sat down at the table, and who was the engineer? Your friend, Bob?
John Snyder.
John Snyder was here. Have fun, too.
Mitch was there.
Yes, we had a nice group of people. We all
Haley
went
was
over
there.
each plan, and we came up with what you're gonna have before you tonight to vote on.
And Bobby
So-
Fuss was there.
Anybody have any questions for Sam?
Maybe you should explain to the full board or somebody what we're gonna do. Does anybody?
Well, I don't have much to read. I mean, I think that the board granted us that committee
You want me to
to.
read it then, more or less, or explain it?
And a 5,
Yeah, go
the
ahead.
5th whereas.
Okay, we're gonna move Office of the Agent that's been over in the Bonadette building back over to the existing Office of the Agent where it used to be after we renovate it, fix it and clean it up. Then we're gonna move Glove House up to some vacant space in the Department of Social Services, and they're gonna pay for most of the cost or 60% of the cost to renovate that space. And that's gonna free up space from Glove House that's at the Bonadette and the space from the Office of the Agent, so we'll have more than enough room for the mental health to be renovated at Bonadette and accommodate, like I said, mental health with room to grow. For the projected cost without the mechanicals is roughly 3.5 million. The mechanicals for Bonadette has between 750,000 to $1 million. So whether we do this or not, we still have to fix the mechanicals over there. And I don't know, is Bob stuck there on the phone? Probably not. Sam, Mike, can you address the need for the mechanicals?
Yeah, so we are on one boiler over there. It's old, obviously it's original equipment, so we would probably want to replace and or get a duplication there. If something goes down, then we have another heating unit. Also, we have a bunch of, what do they call those things?
The heat pumps or something? Some kind of pumps.
Heat pumps. There's like about 30 of them over there, their original equipment as well. And Bob's got in the budget right now to replace like 3 a year, but they really all should be replaced if we can do that in this project.
And plus, we gotta still fix the roof, but that's already budgeted, so.
Yeah, and that's we're actually have a pre-con for that either this week or next week.
So, anybody have questions for anybody here on that?
Shouldn't we have John Snyder to come down and give us a presentation on this whole thing for the board?
We could.
I think it'd be good that everybody knew what they were voting on, just because it's gonna be north of 4 million by the time it's over with, you know?
I don't have any problem with that. I don't know what the committee says,
I got a problem with it for $1 million.
I'd like to see something.
but
I'd like to see something.
Yeah, I'd like to too.
I'd like to see a presentation of this. I mean, you guys are all experienced with this stuff, and it's kind of new to some of us.
I don't blame you.
He brings good pictures usually.
Yeah,
At least we put it onto the floor anyway.
yeah.
I mean, at some point, you probably have to start talking about, are you going to continue doing capital projects or not doing? What's the priority? You know, revenue is going to be severely hampered for God knows how long. You know what I'm saying? Between sales tax revenue and Del Lago revenue and et cetera, we'd be taking a hit here. So I don't know if we should be getting into capital projects unless absolutely something that has to be
I
done.
think it's probably something we really have to do something about mental
Yeah.
health. We've been
When would
promising
this
it.
be,
Yeah.
when would this be projected to start?
But
When would this be projected to start? Like this project, this whole $4 million project, like next year, the year after?
when it would start, it would
Yeah.
start in phases. First, it'd probably clean up and renovate the office of the agent so we could move office of the agent over here. And then somehow downstairs in the DSS, renovate the space for Glove House. We gotta work out contracts with Glove House. And then once those two departments are over here, then we can go over there and start renovating the Bonadent building.
So like,
It'll be
as
all
soon as
wide open.
possible then?
What?
You don't have a projected start
No.
date, or it'd just be as soon as we could get it passed and get it
Right.
going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
gonna take time, but it'll go in steps. And
yeah. I'd just like to see a presentation, so in case I was asked about it, I could explain it better.
Okay, well, we'll probably have to wait about a month or longer for that.
Well, yeah, if it's going out too far, then maybe we
Well, I
bypass
mean,
that, but.
it'll be like a month. And if we're lucky, we won't have a business meeting in the second week in April if we passed all these resolutions tonight, as long as nothing else comes up.
Yeah.
Probably something else will come up, but anyway. we
So,
can-
so this committee then will sit on this until after the presentation,
Yeah,
correct?
Why would the committee need to sit on it? You want to get it to the board, your members of
but
your.
we don't want the board to table it because they want,
Yeah, we want to
Before they
stall
vote
out
on
the
it.
board.
But it needs to be, I
resolution
would
here.
suggest that it get on the board's agenda, your committee's recommending approval.
Because it would probably be a presentation at a regular
At a
board
regular
meeting.
board meeting.
Not at a committee meeting.
We can
Right.
see if we can get them here for the next board meeting.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
yeah.
Are the members of this committee fine with passing it along to the board as a presentation, and then the board will have that right to choose?
I think we should move it forward.
Okay, very good. Did we make a motion?
Make a motion to move it.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
John, what'd you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. What's that?
I need clarification. So we just passed that resolution to go to the board and.
Not tonight.
And that could be, like you said, originally, a month away.
Unless we have a business meeting in April 13th or 14th, whatever date that is, and then we could invite John up for that.
Right, it'll depend on when he can come and present to the whole board. Correct.
Could we have like at our next regular board meeting
You could do
that
it then,
is not,
too.
we're trying not to have, but just do a presentation, do it on YouTube like this? you know, just to get it going,
Not
I
that much
guess.
of a hurry to have it done, but we'll.
Yeah.
If, like I'm saying, if something else, we had to meet the second Tuesday of the month, then we can maybe fit them in, then. If not.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that all we need for that? We're all set. Okay. Supervisors authorize and support the settlement with Hillside Family of Agencies for electric usage. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay. Mitch, did you want to just briefly do discussion or give a little update, right?
So as I think everybody on the board is aware, last fall, there was a electrical failure at the Hillside campus, and in the aftermath of that failure and the related repair efforts, it was determined that Sewer 2, Water 1, and the County 911 system had been drawing electricity through the meter that was charged and paid for by Hillside. There was analysis done, best practice of consumption for each of those units. And there was some discussions with Hillside about a fair and equitable resolution for this. And at this time, both parties have agreed in principle. The county's part of this is in partnership with the IDA, who will abate the final rent payments that Hillside owed since the campus closed in the fall. And Mr. Ettman will be, upon the board's affirmative vote, will be working with Hillside's council to complete an agreement that would, and IDA's council to complete the resolution.
Very good, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Pardon me?
Don Trout, aye, okay.
Okay, carried. All right, unfinished business. Supervisors authorized acquisition of New York State Route 414 sewer line from Seneca County IDA, execution of the IMA for wastewater conveyance, treatment, operations, and maintenance. What I have here is either I don't get a quote or it's $50,000 to do pressure testing or televising. I recommended that when the master meter is installed to meter off flow coming from 318 and 414, and that we compare the metered flows up the stream to determine the tightness of the system. If the numbers are within a couple of percentages, I would think we could say the system is in good servable condition. We can also do a visual inspection of all the manholes as well. Okay, Sam.
Sam?
Okay.
Reason we're putting it in.
Don Trout agrees.
I agree, but I still say we should do a visual as well, both.
Absolutely.
So you have just a visual inspection of the manholes and make sure the mortar is tight and no infiltration around the pipe.
Yep, I think that's reasonable, I think we should do that.
Was there any resolution here to?
There is a resolution, but none of that's stated in it as I'm looking through it.
Yeah, I think that's the unfinished business about,
Public Works Supervisor,
of the intermunicipal agreement, but. So what are we gonna, you're gonna give us?
there is a resolution though.
But it doesn't include any of that.
It doesn't include what was just spoke of, which,
You need to make an amendment.
Dave Bettman, help us out here. That's the unfinished business is a resolution that
What I would suggest is that we split this resolution and deal primarily with the action related to the 414 line. That's a simple, separate matter, and then that would be separated from the issue of authorization for the IMA. The IMA is final, but we've sort of been overcome by events of getting the lawyers to look at it because everybody's got other issues right now. So I think it would be best to split the resolution. I mean, the authorization I would submit that is appropriate is that we're going to accept the IDA 414 line only after we're satisfied that it is in satisfactory condition. That is subject to the meter flow test for I&I and for the visual inspection of the manhole and other connections. Am I making sense?
Yeah, so that needs to be a resolution.
I would suggest that the resolution as it's sitting in the packet needs to be split and address the 414 acquisition separately from the issue of the IMA authorization.
Or it's easier just to make a new resolution up that says a couple sentences that you agree with Sam's recommendation.
Handle it that way, sir.
So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You said the IMA with the IDA. What about the beginning of it? Seneca?
There's two issues. You have this resolution encompasses both the acquisition of the 414 line from the IDA, and it also talks about the intermunicipal agreement, which is if we accept 414 before the IMA is signed, it's a four-party agreement. That's us, the town of Junius, the town of Tyre, and the town of Seneca Falls. If we still have the IMA, if the IDA is still the owner of the 414 line, then it's a five-part agreement. That's a complete. That's independent of whether we take the 414 line.
So again, you've got the town, Seneca Falls, Tyre, and Junius, Seneca County, correct? All with IMAs. All those together want to take this over from the IDA.
No.
Well, then tell me what you said, because that's how I got it.
Seneca County District Number 3 will / Seneca County will acquire title ownership to the 414 sewer line from Del Lago to the town line of town of Seneca Falls from the IDA. The IMA is a 4 or 5 party operating agreement for how the 318 414 line will work.
Excuse me, but how do you get 4 or 5?
Because if we take ownership of the 414 line before the IMA is signed, then it's only a 4-party agreement. If for some reason the IMA is ready to be signed before we take ownership of it, the IDA is still signing on to the intermunicipal agreement.
Is anybody else lost?
Yeah.
Is anybody else lost? Because honestly, I am not getting it, so hit me, or if you guys get it.
Well, the difference is,
Don't you understand, though?
to start with.
Why it's, go ahead, Ern, what's that?
Should have been written into to start with.
Please.
If IDA still owns it, then it's a 5-party line when we do the IMA, which we haven't signed yet. Okay, so if we take ownership of it, they're out of it, then it'll be a 4-party.
And then who's going to be responsible to make sure it's all tested? That's my big thing.
Seneca County.
Seneca County is responsible to test it before and to be satisfied with it before we're going to sign any documents with IDA.
Okay.
Before Seneca County takes ownership of it.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure it works before we take ownership.
That's the big thing, to make sure it's working before we take it over. So,
Is there any way we can just get the tests and the studies done before we agree on anything?
Right, well, that's.
you'd think,
This motion was to grant the authority to do that, subject to the approval, subject to the testing and inspection.
So this motion basically is giving Sam permission to go ahead and test, correct?
To take the steps necessary to make sure the line is in good condition before we feed it.
Do we
Okay.
need to amend this motion for the visual inspection?
That's why he said we're going to divide it up into two resolutions. One is to do the inspection on the line, and the other one is to.
Leave
enter
this
the
one
agreement.
alone for now.
Yeah, leave this one alone, let's just do the
Okay.
one on the,
I agree. I think we should just do the inspection.
Yeah.
We can come back. Do you know how long this has been hanging out?
get something going.
Years, folks. So now to think that we got to do all this tonight, no, I say that we get the inspection and then we'll go, move from there.
So
Does that,
the
does my
county's
girl,
going to pay for the
My
inspection
girls.
process of this,
We're-
right?
called
We are
girls.
trying to work that out with the IDA.
Okay,
The IDA's property, the IDA wants to get out of owning it.
right.
So we are hoping that the IDA is going to contribute some of the money that we need. I mean, the actual inspection that we're talking about now is substantially less than what we were talking about when we were doing either what do you call, when you run when the camera system down the line, or doing the hard line pressure test.
Is B&L waiting on this? Or has anybody asked them, or?
Do we need to get a quote to do this, or can we just?
No, this is probably done with IDA money.
right? But didn't B&L already look at this project long ago and put their stamp on it, correct?
where'd you
So
get
what
your
we're
numbers
doing is
from?
double checking. Excuse me?
Sam, where'd you get the numbers from for the estimate for the testing?
For the televising,
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on another quote, but I tried to get Scanex to give me a quote, and they pushed it off. They didn't want anything to do with it, so. But I think using the master meter, I think it would cost little or nothing, because we're just checking flow rates to make sure that 2 + 2 = 4.
So you don't have the master meter in yet, or do you?
It's supposed to be in, this week, but with everybody shut down, we're not gonna get a whole lot of information right now, so.
That's our money budgeted for the master meter?
So we
That was
probably
already
should have,
included.
That was
probably
already
should
approved.
approve this resolution tonight, Sam, so then you can get started on it.
So all we
Waiting
need to
another
do,
month.
so is all we need to do is just get the visual inspection done?
Anyway, because I'm not gonna get a whole lot of flow.
Good point.
Get a lot of flow now, is the problem.
Because there's nobody using it as us, right?
All of the
So-
casino, they're both
Lago shut
closed.
down.
Okay,
and
so-
Mall is shut down.
Then if
Just a
it's
gas
not gonna be a correct reading, we should sit on this.
But they gotta put a flow meter in first.
Okay,
We might
so
as well give them permission to put the flow meter in, get started, so in a month from now, maybe, or 2 months, we'll be all ready to go.
correct, okay, but not to take anything else over.
No,
Thank you, Sam.
I'd say just get the inspections done and the meter in, and then then we're ready to go once all this breaks, right?
So Mitch can write a quick resolution, or Dave can, for tonight's meeting then.
So the resolution's just gonna state that we're authorizing Sam the money to put a flow meter, not a master, right? Flow meter in,
Flow meter is already in the contract.
Okay, the
Okay.
flow meter's in the contract, Cindy.
okay, but we're not gonna sign anything until after those measures have been looked at, correct?
Right.
Public Works Group,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Okay,
So
you got
want
that,
to-
Mr. Ottman?
Well, I would suggest then what you're saying is you want to postpone action on this resolution
As it's written,
as it's written,
That's
and/or
correct.
request that it be resubmitted at your next meeting.
that's correct. Public Works?
After the test.
Yeah,
That may be 2
And
months,
then we gotta,
Could be.
but you just
It's been
gotta give
sitting there
Sam
for years.
authorization to
We
start
gotta
the
wait till
process.
We can, but I don't think you need a resolution to have him start doing the process.
Okay, there you
Because
go.
that's part of, it's part of the process of the acquisition. We'll be dealing with IDA, we'll be doing this work, and and we'll clean this up.
Okay. Is the Public Works Group good with that? Please look at me and let me know.
Yeah, it's just in the contract.
Yes, yes, yes.
Don
We're
Trout, you're
good.
in favor of that, right?
don't piss off mom, whatever you do.
Look at me. Okay, I think we're good now. I think we're done.
Okay.
Oh, my Lord. Let me make sure. Any
What
new
you messing
business?
up here, Don?
my pool nicely.
You can see it full nicely.
He's probably drinking a beer.
Damn.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks.
Okay, Planning, Development, Agriculture, and Tourism Supervisor Barnhart. Nice
Thank you,
to-
Mr. Chairman. I don't have a microphone tonight, so I'll just speak loudly.
Well, you're loud.
You want one?
You want white voice?
There's one sitting there doing nothing.
6 feet. I got 3 foot on. All right. First resolution we have tonight is an appointment of the Board of Supervisors representative to the Seneca County Cornell Cooperative Extension Board. That representative is nominated to be Ralph Lott.
Second.
Second, Paul Cronenwater, okay.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next up, we have appointments to the Genesee Finger Lakes Regional Planning Council. Looks like we're reappointing Mitch Rowe and Jill Henry to the board. Is there a first and a second?
I'll make a motion.
Support. Mr. Cronenwater.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next on the list is the application for New York State New York State Department of Transportation Aviation Capital Grant Program. Jill Henry, thank you. Go ahead. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Jill Henry has written an email and might have some comments on this. Jill?
Jill, are you there?
Yes, I am. Basically, this was really going to be a discussion. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. The issue is that I don't have all the numbers anymore with what the grant application final numbers will be and what our local match would be. It is potentially for the purchase of Milt Von Hammond hangar, which is at the airport. He approached us about a year ago and expressed interest. We've been waiting for this grant application to be announced. And I just recently spoke to him, and he said he is still willing to be part of this application and work with us gathering the information. So I really need to continue to do some work, but I just wanted to make sure that the board was aware that I am bumping up against a May 4th application deadline, if that does not get extended. So as I'm hoping that at the next meeting that you have, which I was hoping the April 14th meeting, that I would have all this information in order, and that it would be something that you can make a decision upon. So right now, it really is just more of a discussion item for you to be aware of.
Thank you, Jill.
So if we don't act on it until like April 28th or something, it still won't be too late.
That's a little late, isn't it?
Now, as long as we can have your approval to submit the application, and most likely part of that will also be an agreement with Milt Von Hammond on what the purchase offer agreement would look like. So those two things need to happen before May 4th.
Okay, so we could have a committee meeting that night, then a special board meeting to act on it on the 28th or 27th, one or the other.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Jill. Do we need to table that, or do we just let it go?
I guess
Could hold it in committee.
Just hold it in committee. Do we need to make action on that, or no?
you just withdraw your motion in a second. Does that work legally?
Yeah, I withdraw mine.
Just hold, I mean, just table,
Cool. I don't need to vote or anything?
postpone, I should say.
Okay. And Ralph, did you want to vote yes on those first two issues?
Definitely do.
Okay. I see you're on the committee.
All right, and then the last issue tonight, Community Development Block Grant Loan for Crosswinds Farm and Creamery. Jill, could you?
Jill?
Yes.
You got a flat line there?
Somebody just died.
COVID-19 has hampered our ability to move forward with this. We have the loan application in hand and ready to move, but I have not been able to get a quorum on a conference call with our revolving loan committee. So Crosswinds is interested in purchasing purchasing property, which is those familiar. The Lodi area is the Talbot Farm. They have funding that they're going to purchase the land, and they're asking for a $70,000 loan from our revolving loan fund for equipment and working capital. So we're trying to keep this moving forward, and we did speak with them about the fact that given the current situation, that do they still want to go ahead with this? And their response was actually yes. Their demand for their product is even higher now because it's a locally produced product, and they would still want to move forward. So my hope is that I can get this revolving loan committee together, get their approval, and we can move forward as, to help our local business expand and grow, especially in these times. So at this point, it's your choice to make. I guess you can, the options that I presented in my email was to table it again till a next meeting when I have potentially the approval of the loan review committee, or I'm not sure, I would defer to Edmund whether or not we can approve it pending approval of the loan review committee.
He's nodding his head yes, so I think that's okay, and that's the route.
You can do that, make it contingent upon, your approval, of course, is then contingent upon the recommendation of the committee.
And I think that's what we'd like to do, is to move this forward pending approval from the loan review committee. Thank you, Jill. Any other questions or discussion from the committee? So I'd like to move that to a vote to approve this resolution pending loan review committee approval. Thank you, Dave. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Mr. Lott? Mr. Lott says aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion carried. Is there any unfinished business for this committee today? Is there any new business for this committee today? Committee adjourned.
Very good. Thank you. Next up, Government Operations Supervisor Garlic Lorenzetti.
Yes, sir. Okay, so Board of Supervisors authorized the retention of Napoli, I don't even know.
Kalanick.
There you are.
Kalanick, there we go.
PLLC. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Actually, I don't know what this is. County Attorney, I don't see any money numbers in here, so exactly what is this?
This is similar to the litigation agreements that we had concerning the cell phone E911 money account lawsuit. This is similar to the opioid litigation lawsuit. This firm specializes in large class action, government-based legal action. In this case, they have presented themselves as lead counsel for multiple plaintiffs, municipal plaintiffs, going after the manufacturers and distributors of the I will simply use the acronym PFOA. I can't pronounce that this time. I didn't practice. This is the product that has ended up being ubiquitous, not only with firefighting foams, but apparently used in a variety of other industrial processes, which has a residue and then ends up in a variety of soils and does not break down and ends up in water tables and has some bad effects. This was something that made the news a few months ago. This is the New York State Association of Counties presented them as the counsel. So again, they're also the ones that are representing us on the 911 matter. And so that's the position. So we would be joining the plaintiff's class in this litigation.
And you might add Village of Waterloo is on this too.
Village of Waterloo's indicated they'll be participating as well. since they also, they provide the water, but we have a large distribution component, so it's important for us as well.
And it costs us nothing to get in.
Right, there is no, this is the classic plaintiff's litigation. There are no, it's only in the event of a settlement or win that the firm's fees and expenses are deducted from that.
Okay, what does the committee think? Any questions?
Wait, Ralph wants to talk.
Okay.
I'm not
Ralph, you got the floor.
All right, my question would be, Mr. Edmond, who exactly are they gonna go after for this money? Are they gonna go after the Army or IDA or? maybe
No, this
more?
is the manufacturers of the terrible, awful stuff.
Of the PFO.
The fact that it was used apparently is not an issue. They could go after DOD. I don't know that for a fact, but they're primarily interested in the companies that manufactured it and distributed it.
Okay, that answers it.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any questions from anyone else on the committee? No, so no money involved. Heaven knows how many years it'll take, but I guess, you know, it is a terrible thing that happened, so all in favor to go ahead and try to sue the company with PFOAs. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, carried. There. Right?
Aye, okay, thank you.
Okay, supervisors proclaim April as Donate Life Month in Seneca County.
Support. Second.
Very good. I know in the justice of time, but I do think this is a very important issue. Everyone should have a place on your license if you want to be an organ donator. And can I just read it quickly?
Well, wait 1 second.
Yes.
Did anybody there want to address this resolution? Is Tiffany there? Okay.
Okay, so whereas organ and tissue transplantation has advanced from an experimental technique to a successful mode of therapy, for many transplants mean an improvement in their quality of life. For others, they mean the difference between life and death. Each year, the waiting list for organ transplants grows longer and longer. Many people die before organs become available. Nationally, the current waiting list for organ donors has reached more than 100,000, and thousands more are needed. In New York State alone, nearly 10,000 people are waiting for a transplant. More names are added to the waiting list daily, and the number of people on the waiting list far exceeds the number of donors. Citizens have for many years been encouraged to sign up to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor through New York State Donate Life Registry, a database of individuals who have chosen upon their death to donate their organs and tissues through online registration when they apply for or renew their driver's license. Donate Life Awareness Month provides the opportunity to help people learn more about organ donation, to help the thousands of patients that are awaiting transplants, and to recognize the critical need for organ, eye, tissue, bone marrow, and blood donation. The observance of Donate Life Awareness Month provides the opportunity to educate people, to encourage them to consider to do organ and tissue donation, to add their names to the New York State Donate Life Registry, expressing their consent to donate, ensuring that more lives are saved, and to inform their family and friends of their decision. This resolution has been reviewed and recommended by Government Ops on March 24th, 2020. So thank you for letting me read that again. This is a very important thing. I hope all of you are considering to donate organs at the time. Any other discussions? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you. Oh, I have one more thing. Okay.
Ralph, you said yes?
Yeah, I voted yes.
Okay.
Okay. We have the resolution authorizing the adoption by the Board of Supervisors of the County of Seneca, local law number 1, year 2020. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, anybody have discussion on this? Mitch, you kind of want to just give a brief synopsis?
Earlier this year, the board had held a public hearing regarding salary schedule for 2020. The matter had been held for additional consideration by the board and is back for your further consideration this evening.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? No. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Aye, Burrell, yep. Okay, you want all those resolutions on the consent agenda?
Pardon me? Yeah,
You want
document.
all your resolutions on the consent agenda?
Correct, thank you.
Okay. Where are we now?
Human Services?
I don't have a couple pages, I do too, I go back one more.
We'll shoot them off one.
Okay, Human Services, Mr. Forrest, Supervisor Forrest, welcome.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Issue number 1, supervisors accept bid for temporary labor for weatherization program. So this is just something that we do every year. Do I have a motion on that one?
Who's the second to?
Second. Mr. Reynolds, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, carried. Issue 2, supervisor accept bid for tune and clean of oil-fired heating systems for weatherization program. Have a motion?
Support.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Issue 3, supervisors accept bid for tune and clean of natural gas and propane-fired heating systems for weatherizing program. Do I have a motion?
I'll support it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Sorry about that.
Issue 4, supervisors accept bid for combustion appliance repair work. Do I have a support? Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Issue 5, Seneca County Board of Supervisors proclaims April 2020 Child Abuse Prevention Month in Seneca County.
Support.
Support? Second? So Tracy says, April is National Child Abuse Month. This is a proclamation for Seneca County to recognize this action. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Issue 6, Board of Supervisors to approve Seneca County Division of Human Services contractual agreement with Seneca County Community Counseling Service for school-based related mental health services and other related services. Motion?
Support.
Second? All right. So this is a mental health school-based program for contractual services with local mental health program. The only difference from last year is we have to increase funding due to adding mental health assessments for our PINS JD children as mandated by regulations. This is 62% reimbursable. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Issue 7, Board of Supervisors to approve Seneca County Division of Human Services contractual agreement with Cayuga Centers for Family Functional Therapy and other related services. Motion?
Support.
Second? All right. Cayuga Center's contract is yearly contract for family functional therapy services. We have increased this contractual to include individual skill building for all youth referred as part of this program, and this is 62% reimbursable as well. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any unfinished business on the Human Services Committee? Any new business?
We're all good for the consent resolution?
Yep, all good for tonight. And adjourned.
I think I beat personnel on that one. Nice job, Joe.
Yeah, that was a quick one.
Pushed right through.
For those of you keeping score this evening.
Public Health Services. Mr. McGreevy is not present, so it'll be Supervisor Reynolds.
Okay. Only got one thing. County manager authorized and directed to sign a contract and consent amendments to the receive additional COVID-19 response funding, which we probably could use that.
Support.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none.
We hope that's good for the consent resolution tonight. Okay.
This is Vicki, I'm on the phone.
Oh.
Does anybody have any questions?
It's too late. I already voted for it. Do you want to,
Good, never mind.
you don't want to add anything to it?
Not if you guys don't have any questions.
Okay.
Keep up the good work, Vicki.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job, too.
Thank you, I will let my staff know.
All of you. Okay, Indian Affairs. Ralph, you got anything to say tonight on Indian Affairs?
I really don't. The only thing is we got an email this afternoon from our attorney, Brian Maldivio, that said that the Cuba won some sort of judgment over in Cuba County about their gaming stuff over there. Really, the county's going to appeal it. It really doesn't affect us, I don't think, at this point. So that's the only thing I have. Maybe Paul there, you got something else?
That'd be the Village of Union Springs is going to appeal it, right?
Right. Very quickly, Village of Union Springs tried to assert a role in the gambling aspect of their operation, trying to build upon the rule that they have we have administrative oversight on fee-owned land, and because of the existence of the Indian Gaming Act, the district court ruled in favor of the Indians, as there was a separate governmental system set up, essentially preempting the local government from doing so. As I said, Union Springs does intend to appeal. Our council essentially said unless and until the nation tries to reinstitute some kind of gambling operation over here in the town of Seneca Falls, that it really doesn't have an impact on us at this time.
Excuse me. At this time, but if they're doing something that we possibly could be involved in the next few months, who knows? Would we not team up with them and kind of reinforce whatever they're doing, like work together? Instead of doing it separately?
At the risk of sounding, they have counsel that's going to do their thing. At best, I will talk to Mr. Laudadio about a possible amicus position, in other words, friend of the court or on behalf, but we have no standing in their legal argument, in their case.
Right, but we could reinforce what they're trying to do.
Like I said, I will talk to Mr. Laudadio about that.
Yeah.
What his working opinion is that if there's any intent on the nation to start gaming over here, they will wait until they get their land and trust situation resolved.
I just think it would be good neighborly kind of thing to do to, just tag our name in on what they're trying to prevent.
No, like I said,
Just
I'll speak to
more
him about
reinforcement, that's all. Thanks.
I'd just like to mention something, Mr. Chairman. I'm wondering the status of the two buildings that are demolished that are still, heaps of junk there. I know you can't issue a building permit for them to clean that up until they pay their taxes, but is there any incentive for them to pay their taxes? I'm just thinking, could we waive that rule or something so they would clean it up? It's quite the eyesore next to the state park down there.
I had a conversation with Mark Shaw this afternoon because we've discussed this. Their conversation is that the nation's reps that he's talked to have said they were going to, quote, secure the debris field, if I can.
Yeah, they got caution tape around.
Well, they're actually gonna like tarp it down or something like that, but that hasn't happened yet. We have discussed, they will issue a notice of violation for the debris field. We've discussed doing that basically the end of the month.
Right.
With the understanding that we will issue, in the fashion that it will fly, We will issue the notice of violation. They will ignore it, and then we will consult with counsel, outside counsel, determine we would bring the action in our court to probably be in town of Seneca Falls Court to enforce the action. The nation would then move to, they will do one of two things. They'll ignore it, or they would move to transfer the case to federal court, and we would address it there. Given a little bit less, I'll use the term based upon the Sherrill case, they may just decide to clean it up and not try and force that as a separate issue. We did receive some correspondence from the U.S. Attorney's offices in the Northern District and the Western District, which seemed to indicate that Mr. Halftown's position with the Bureau of Indian Affairs is not quite what he says it is or represents it to be. It's not a big deal. I mean, I'm not saying there's a freight train to be driven through there, but nevertheless, there is some question. The two U.S. attorneys had conversations with the Department of the Interior, the parts that oversee the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and they believe that perhaps the actual interim director of the Bureau of Indian Affairs may have overstepped in the wording that they gave Mr. Halftown his blessings for some of the actions, you know, in the police force and other matters. I'm not saying that there, again, this is not a huge, something that we're going to be able to hang our hat on and try to do a lot of things, but it is at least put the U.S. Attorney's, both U.S. Attorney's offices into concern. And again, it's the function of, unless and until they get their land into trust issue resolved, they are a fee property subject to general local administration.
Yeah, I, for one, would not waive that rule. That would be a mistake, a big mistake on our part. And I'm sorry that people have to drive by and see it, and I'm sorry that it's by the state park, but I also feel the more people that see it and recognize exactly what's going on, the better our cause is gonna be. Yeah, tarp it over, but don't, because once you change the rules for them, you might as well change the rules for everybody else in this county.
I'm getting used to it personally.
Yeah, you know what? People will drive by and go, what's this? Oh, yeah.
Mark
I
was
won't.
going out to the site today, except it's covered in, actually it was going out yesterday, but it got covered in snow, so they'll go out and check the site again tomorrow.
Good.
Still there tonight.
Well, I just wanted to go in and see it with, you know, make sure exactly what's on top, and if they can get anywhere with either a voluntary cleanup or at least tarping it down.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess that's the end of the Indian Affairs Committee. Very good. Finance, Assessment, and Insurance, Supervisor Reynolds.
Okay. Issue one is I need to extend the tax rolls for the villages, bills for the villages.
Motion.
Second.
A second. This is housekeeping, kind of. We do this every year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none. Oh, Don there. That's right. Don should be on this one.
Don said yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Don said yes.
Still there.
Don says yes. We're good. Number two, extended tax rolls and bill extract files for Phelps, Clifton, Romulus, Seneca Falls, South Seneca, Trumansburg, and Waterloo school districts.
Motion.
Second.
Once again, it's housekeeping. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing
Aye,
none.
Mr. Trout.
Don says good. All right. Number three. Amnesty, this is for discussion only. Amnesty on interest and penalties for delinquent taxes.
Motion.
Second.
Oh,
This
it's
is
just discussion.
You don't
Yeah.
need support to discuss.
Oh, that's right. This is from the treasurer.
Yeah, Frank come up with this. I don't know. I really don't. I would recommend maybe go 2 months or something like that. People can't get in to pay their taxes right now, but other than that, we can't just give stuff away, especially in this state of the economy here. That would be giving away the Indians to everything to the Indians free and everybody else. I just think it's not the way we should do things. I don't know what Frank thinks we can make a lot of money
Can
that
somebody
way, but.
explain it? Because I'm not quite understanding it. Can somebody explain this?
Okay,
Well,
you're
Frank's
there,
there.
Frank, but
Yeah.
did you get, everybody get this packet? It's in this packet. but-
Because of the COVID-19, Frank Seneca recommended we
Frank
relax.
here? Is Frank here?
Frank, on-
Yeah, he's there.
Okay, Frank,
Yeah, I'm here.
Speak up.
thank you.
Okay, basically, what the email that I sent out to the committee, and I think Margaret got out to all the board members, is that, an amnesty for property tax would just be on the interest and penalty. Obviously, the person would have to pay the base. The state many years ago did an amnesty on state income taxes. If you paid your back taxes, then whoever was governor, I can't remember, you didn't have to pay the interest and penalty on that. And it's, the same notion. Not everybody is gonna be able to participate in this. And it's not a pick and choose thing either. The largest taxpayer right now owing money is the Cuban Nation. They owe, $5,407,000. Their base they owe, if they were to come in and pay, they would pay $3,518,000 to the county and $151,000 to Town of Barron. If they just came in, if we forgave the interest and penalty on their property. But there's other people out there that may come in and try to clean up their properties and get current with other taxpayers. So that's what it's all about. Not everybody is gonna participate, but those people that can afford to do it may come in, and it might bring you some extra revenue in the summertime. So it's just something for thought, and of course, only the board can do this. So that's it.
So how do you pick and choose who participates, I guess?
How do you pick and choose what?
Who participates in this? Who is allowed to, if we pass this as a board, how do you decide, who decides who's eligible to get relief from their interest and fines?
Any person that's a taxpayer in Seneca County owing property tax would be eligible for this, provided they pay all the back taxes on all the property they own. They just couldn't pick and choose. For instance, the two properties you were talking about, the Cuban Nation, one property they owe $117,000, and the other property they owe $131,000. They couldn't just come in and pick and choose those two to, clean up that rubble on their property.
And this would be,
Take the whole thing.
so it'd be all or nothing, and it'd be for a set period of time that they would be able to come in and pay this. It's not forever, it's only through those certain dates that you outlined, right?
Right, it would only be for those dates outlined, and it would be just a one-time thing. I mean, maybe the county would never ever do it again.
All right, so this wouldn't be like a year-to-year basis. This is, if this got passed, this would just be for this year only, and then we'd have to revisit it next year if we wanted to do it again.
Oh, yeah, if the board ever wanted to do it again in the next 50 years, they would have to decide to do it. I don't think it's ever been done, and I don't know if any other county has ever done it.
I have a
But
question.
it's just an idea to try to get people to catch up on their taxes.
Yeah, I have a question for Frank. Is this just because of what we're going through and people being out of work? Is this what prompted this?
Not really. I had talked to Mr. Edmond about this before this virus thing even existed.
Cool. Well, let's say that now that it's existing, I think that I would agree to something like this, but in order to single out who's eligible, I would say the people have to make under, I'm gonna throw it out and let anybody else say a figure. Like a household, in order to be able to do this, would have to make less than $150,000.
How you gonna monitor that? I do that every year for for exemptions, and you should see some of the crazy
Their
shit.
tax return.
Yeah, but-
Yeah, but they'll tell you they don't file taxes.
You have businesses that own properties, you have.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hire a whole staff to monitor that.
All right, well, throw that out the window.
Chase.
It was a great idea, but I deal with that every year with exemptions.
How would you do it then?
How do we do it? It's
Mr.
up to
Claire?
me. If they file their taxes, I can legally take them. If they don't file taxes, they fill out a form. If I find something that I don't like, which I've done before, and I've called people out on it, I deny their exemption. I have the right to deny it.
So how would we do this then?
It's a lot of work to file somebody's income.
I'm talking to this, Frank's plan. What would your,
Everybody that owes taxes.
Everybody that owes
Everybody owes taxes.
That's what he's
Might make
proposing.
them pay us.
Yeah, Frank, you got a number on what's that gonna cost us,
But they
Frank?
can only pay through August,
Well, we aren't getting any money, right?
through an 11-day period.
So, is this a carrot for the nation?
Yeah.
Is this?
No, it's not that, it wasn't the
No,
nation.
it's not care for the nation.
issue
That's those
was,
guys.
if it is, I'm not.
Yes, we ain't gonna give them
a lot of
anything.
people
Lots.
that carry, they carry that third year.
And they
They
go back
roll
to
into
one
the
year
year,
so they
we're
don't lose
gonna
their
go to
property.
the auction,
There's a
and they
lot.
pay that back year, and then they keep rolling along. They look at it as a carrying charge. I can't explain. There are some people that don't have the money, it becomes difficult when we do the payment plans, but there are others that just view it as a carrying charge. And the idea was, the money that's tied up in the interest and penalties for pretty much everybody but the nation is not an insignificant number, but at the same time, it's pennies compared to the principal that's due. The other factor, of course, is you have to remember, the county has to pay out to the municipalities and the school board.
Right, we gotta make them whole.
We have to make them whole each year, and so the county is carrying that load. So the idea would be to try and get the principal in and at least have a relatively cleaner sheet to go forward.
We don't know if they're gonna jump on this either.
And then the
No,
flip
you
side
guarantee
is
anybody,
property.
you might get 100 properties out of
Right.
300. So the idea, I think it's great, because the idea is let a bank be a bank. Right now, we're a bank financing all.
Right.
And we're in the hole, so let a bank, this might entice somebody that owes $100,000 in back taxes for the last 3 years, or $50,000, go out and get a mortgage at a bank, a home equity line of credit, let the bank carry the note on that. Get us our money back. Face it, the Indians aren't gonna pay this.
Yeah, we'll give up that, we're not gonna carry that one.
Even if you said, we'll cut it in half and waive all your interest, they're not gonna.
Frank, would you propose sending a letter, if this was passed, a letter to each of these property owners?
Yeah, every property owner that has back taxes, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or like the Cuba Nation has many, many years there, we send them all a letter explaining the program and telling them when the dates are. And work with Mr. Etman to, write up a legal letter so it would be easy to administer.
Okay, thank you.
Frank, could you get a hold of Lisa and work with her and figure out what this would actually cost us if everybody played the game? You can find that number out.
It's really hard to put a number on what would be the amount of interest and penalty the county would be losing, because we don't have any idea what financial shape any of these taxpayers are in to come up with all that money to pay back their back taxes. Probably somebody that doesn't pay their 2020 tax, and we get that in April, they may pay that up, in August, because the interest would just be about 9% on that money in August. So they might come in and say, gee, if I can save 9%, I'll just pay it off. So we might get a lot of people to pay their 2020 taxes right off.
Interest and penalties are not, interest and penalties aren't something you budget for anyway, so it's not like you can put a number, it's not like the county's losing money as far as a budgeted revenue type of thing.
Yeah, I could try, I think through the computer program that we have, PCS, I think I might be able to figure out how much interest and penalty, I just call it all interest, is owed to the county on back taxes. I just figure that out, I'm pretty sure. If we pass this, I know a lot of landlords that would come and check a lot of their properties.
That's the thing, I think we'll
That we
find,
want.
you get a lot of, like the Indians with their permits, they can't get a permit. People that have outstanding taxes can't get permits. I know in Waterloo, and Don could probably attest to this, we have a lot of properties that are on back taxes, you probably all have them in your towns too. But they come in, they get a zoning permit for me, but they can't get the county permit to clean up their property or tear a house down or fix it, so. And they just go every year, pay their third year's taxes, so they don't lose the property, and this goes on for a year. I get the list from Lisa Kitchell of all
So
the
you
back
think it's a
properties
good
that you
idea?
all do, and there's always the repeat
Same
offenders out there, and all they're
around
doing
here.
is pay the last year's taxes to get them for seizing the property. So I think it would be, I feel as though we should look into this, go, try to do it, work with the landowners. At least we're getting money back that they're owed.
Right, we're not getting anything.
Mike said, we don't budget that much anyway for interest and penalties, right? So we might as well give them an incentive to, hey, we're gonna work with you if you work with us. That's my thought, but.
Yeah, mine too.
Is that you, Don?
Yeah, I agree. If we pass the, what do we got to lose? We could, show them we're willing to work with them, and I can tell you there's a lot of property owners right now that would, be happy we did something like this, and, they probably come in and catch a lot of their taxes up, instead of using that third year rule, where they come in and just pay what they have to, so we don't take them away from them.
All right, maybe the next committee meeting, we'll do it the next committee meeting. Frank, can you give some numbers for us, just to know what we're dealing with?
Yeah, I'll try to get some numbers for you.
So the next committee, we'll do it
Approve it
then.
in the committee?
Right.
Well, he just sent a letter out mid-June, he said here. So that it'd be paid through August 10th, the only time they could pay is August 10th through the 21st of this year. So would that give him enough time if we waited for the next committee meeting to?
I want to vote, can't the committee vote, and then they go to the board with the.
Well, there's not really a resolution here, it's
Not a
just
resolution.
discussion
Set
tonight.
up as a resolution yet.
Yeah, it's not a resolution.
Can you not set it up? Or no?
Well,
I just-
our next board meeting's in a half an hour.
Is back on the up and up, as opposed to sort of doing this when the economy is in the tank, when people don't have the money to pay.
No, but this is when they might want to pay.
Yeah, they might want to pay
This would
that.
take be the opportunity.
This is probably going to benefit larger corporations and landowners and landlords and things like that more than it's going to benefit the average person. Those people are always going to pay their taxes the third year and keep their homes. But the landlords and the permits, those guys might not be getting a lot of money over the next 2, 3, 4 months.
Yeah, but 9%'s a big number.
Yeah, if on 100,
When you
figure
can
on
get a home
$100,000,
equity loan
it's
for
9%.
2.75 or something.
I'm just saying, if we pass this month and next month, and then it goes into the following month, and it's August, and we're in the middle of this recession or depression, these guys might not have gotten rent for 4 months or something.
Right, they could be,
Just throwing it out there, it might be better
could
to
be
wait.
cash short.
It might be better to wait, might not.
Well, it's a new thing.
Frank, why did you pick between, is there a reason why you picked between August 10th and the 21st to pay the taxes, or is that some sort of a magic date for you that you need them in by, or is that just pick a date from wherever number?
I just arbitrarily picked that date because it would be before the school tax came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and it would give people enough time to gather some money.
Yeah.
So that if we extended that date out, it would have to be after school taxes, what, October-ish, November?
Yeah, you could do it then too, that wouldn't be a problem.
I mean, the idea was to give people plenty of notice that this is what's gonna happen.
Get their ducks in a row.
But not have it to be such a length of time that we're not gonna get our, payments. So that there was still an incentive to get payments in. So it was to narrow the window, but have an extended period of time to get ready for it.
Mitch, got something?
I just wanted to share, I got an email from Haley, she's listening in. Just want everybody to be aware that the adopted 2020 Seneca County budget has a revenue line for interest and penalties on real property of $765,000. And year-to-date, we've taken in $239,208. So we still have budgeted
go.
revenue of $525,000 plus. I just wanted to share that with everybody as you're considering this matter.
Does that include the Indian taxes? That's $765,000?
No.
No, can't. They owe what, 2 million?
Jake, what do you want to do?
Like I said, I'd like to wait, Frank, give us the numbers, and we'll do it next month.
Okay.
Does that sound palatable, everybody on the committee?
I'm fine with that.
Cindy, good? Yep, hey. All right, I guess we're gonna wait on that then. Do I have to officially do anything, or
No,
Okay.
I'll work with Frank and we'll get something drafted up.
get some numbers for us to
and some
digest?
information to go along with it.
Okay. All right, number 4, resolution approving the home rule request for passage of Senate Bill 07800, Assembly Bill A10108, introduced New York State legislation extending the additional 1% sales tax.
Second.
First and second, this is kind of, we seem like we do this all the time. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none.
Ask that be on the consent. That'll be on the consent.
We'll do that tonight, perfect.
These will all be on the.
I just had communication from Senator Helming's chief of staff. Those bills are going to go in to vote. Because they're 2 months ahead of schedule, they're trying to address this as a part of the pre-budget as opposed to waiting. Normally, these resolutions would be there. Mr. Catt specifically want to know if we were acting on it tonight, we'll get it up to them. They were prepared to proceed without the resolution, but this certainly is a better way to do it, and I thank you very much.
I'm done.
Okay, we probably take about a 10-minute recess or something. Rat.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
Keep
go.
going.
Let's say the pledge, let's get on.
Yeah.
Get it on.
I already said the pledge.
Let's change the papers here. Okay. That's the agenda right here. Okay, we got to start on the Seneca County Board of Supervisors special meeting for 6:15 PM or later. We are now later, so we can start, and I'll start with a roll call.
Supervisor Reynolds?
Here.
Supervisor Garland Lorenzetti?
Here.
Supervisor Brownell?
Here.
Supervisor Barnhart?
Here.
Supervisor Bors?
Here.
Supervisor Hayes?
Here.
Supervisor Ferrara?
Here.
Supervisor Cronenwetter?
Here.
Supervisor Lott? Supervisor McGreevy? Supervisor Heisen?
Here.
Supervisor Trout?
Here.
Supervisor Clear?
Here.
Supervisor Enslow? Here. You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman?
Okay, please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
And the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We stand for a moment of silence. Okay, please be seated. Okay. First is a finance, assessment, and insurance.
Thank you, Chairman. A resolution approving the home rule request for passage of Senate Bill 07800 and Assembly Bill A10108, introducing New York State legislation for extension of additional 1% sales tax.
Motion.
Okay. This is a different resolution than the one we just passed, right?
Yeah, Supervisor Reynolds made the motion, Supervisor Garland Lorenzetti supported it.
Great. This is a different resolution than the one we just passed in the committee?
Yeah.
Same one.
Yeah, same one.
Exact same one then. All
Same
right.
one.
And now it's the board.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay. Okay, I'm running this meeting now, huh? I gotta get my act together.
You run the gavel now.
Okay, any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I guess doing the next one, authorization, adoption by the Board of Supervisors for County of Seneca, local law number 1, year 2020.
Motion.
This is your salary increase there, in case you're not watching.
Second.
Okay, and we talked about that earlier. So, any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion. Said yes? Both of you said yes? Okay. Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, I should ask this question before. Do you have to approve the whole package, or
These are.
hypothetically, like, I don't think Bob Heisen deserves a raise, can we make a motion that
The
he
issue
come off
was
the
is
list?
This fills.
I'm not on the list.
This included these positions essentially as a not to exceed number. These are subject to not only these, some of these positions were subject to the 3%, some of them are also subject to the, what's the?
Step increase.
The performance evaluations. So just because you see that number there, that does not necessarily mean what that, that position or employee is being paid.
Okay, thank you.
And,
Yeah,
And you can see we were discussing this back in January, even before probably.
yeah.
So, did you vote on that then, or was?
Yeah, you did.
jumped
We all
in?
voted, no, I just,
Okay, I thought we did. Okay. Okay, number 6 now. Mr. Hayes.
Board of Supervisors rescinds resolution number 170-18 and approves amending the professional engineering report for Seneca County Sewer Districts 1 and 2 for the decentralized alternative.
Motion.
second.
Okay, motion to get those two?
No.
Motion.
Second for our,
Okay.
folks, I think that's important, and I should have said this at the beginning, because of the combination of factors, not only are we all in our circle, and we can usually see in Margaret where she is, but also for the purposes of the record. If you're making, I know sometimes we all jump up and want to be heard, please identify, if you make it, please identify yourself and try and hold off on speaking over each other if you can. Thank you.
You're a little late when we got one.
I know, come on, we're all,
Resolution to go.
we got a few bugs in the
But
system, boss.
technically speaking, Mr. Hayes made the motion.
That's correct.
2 more for this one.
Second, Barnhart second. So now
That's
we're into the
correct.
full meeting, so it's not just a committee meeting, so. So, we're gonna vote, we gotta vote on that now. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Aye, Mr. Trout. Aye, Mr. Lot. Okay. Okay. Motion carried. Where are we up to now? Oh, unfinished business. What's this? Authorized contract with MPA companies for self-insured workers' compensation program and appropriate reserve funds. Who's this come under?
Probably me. That would be finance and insurance.
If I could, within the last 24 hours, the county's risk manager has reported to me an extension has been granted for our current contract, and that other more cost-effective, viable alternatives have presented themselves. So I would ask the board if they would consider further holding or tabling this while we continue to work at it, but we're still covered through June. And again, it looks like we will have more favorable options for you to consider in the near future.
Sounds good to me.
So it stays under unfinished business and will carry over to the next month.
All right.
Okay, that was easy. What's that now, Margaret?
I didn't put new business on?
Yeah, we're gonna put new business on now, and that'll be the consent resolution. How detailed we gotta have it?
You address you just need to address which resolutions identify each resolution.
We agreed on all of them, right?
That's correct.
So we get a one motion from one person, make the motion to approve all the resolutions by consent.
That were approved by committee and presented to the board for consideration.
Supervisor Hayes, so makes the motion.
Supervisor Hayes makes that motion.
Supervisor Farrar will second it.
Probably Don Trout wishes he was here to do it. Okay.
We'll
thank
give you half a second. How's that sound?
Yeah. He bugged me about this 2 weeks ago. I mean, I said, yep. Okay, so then COVID-19 hit. Okay, any discussion on that? Now, are we doing this right, Don? What?
You are.
Okay, I want to make sure. Don said he does this in Waterloo, so. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Guys, the two guys there said yes, so it's passed unanimously by consent. Very good. Any other business?
Yes, sir.
What?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I just want to say a big thank you to all the people that are out there working during this crisis time, and that would include all healthcare, nurses, doctors, CNAs, Wegmans, any grocery store people, any truck drivers, because it's kind of a scary time that we're going through. All the county staff, the mental health, the public health. A big shout out to Bonadette that's working with the governor's task force, and he's gonna revamp his building, his lab, to be able to do the plastic shields for healthcare workers' masks, the new testing swabs that they're coming up for the COVID-19 kit, and ventilator pieces, new and replacement parts. So hopefully they can get the ventilators that they're gonna need within the next probably 10 to 14 days. So that's all. Thank you.
Well said, Cindy.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
And I'm not running again, so that wasn't a big thing for that. It was meant for my heart. So,
Well said, Cindy.
there you are.
Kyle?
Mr. Chairman, I was wondering if you have an update on appointing members to a special sales tax committee.
The sales tax, I think that's on hold for a while. We don't have any money, I'm sure. We can't go by old numbers. We can't have a study on old numbers because they all went out the window, like Mike was saying, so.
I respectfully disagree. We do have numbers from the past 3 years, and I don't believe that any legislation passed during this session would immediately be enacted for this year. So I would strongly encourage you to reconsider and name the committee. I don't think it'll dissolve, and we can move forward from there. And maybe you can get a closer look at what could happen to our economy this year.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to that?
No, I think that maybe we could start looking though. I agree, right now isn't a good time for us, but we have numbers from what were in the past, and the committee doesn't, it's just they're gathering information.
Okay, I'll reconsider that then. I'll get it in the next, we have a lot of time here.
Thank you, Bud.
We aren't going to meet anyway, probably, so.
Keeping the ball rolling.
Okay. I'd like to thank all the department heads and Mitch. I sent him an email today, but I mean, from the bottom of my heart, they've done a lot of work since last week, and you know, they've done a good job. I think I left them alone a little bit, I hope anyway. And they came across great, you know, I'm really proud of them all. I think we should give them all a round of applause. Okay, anything else? You too, Margaret.
Margaret was in here. Margaret was in here tonight with her wipes, and she wiped everybody's desk off, everybody's microphone, and she made sure you were all safe tonight before you came in.
Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you, Margaret. Miss Margaret.
Okay, anybody else? If not, we can adjourn.
All in favor?
Second, all in
Hey.
favor.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you guys down there.